Today's Halloween and some pranks come early. Imagine my surprise when I opened my mailbox last Friday and got this piece of mail. Now, what it doesn't tell you, it has Dennis Bailey's picture right here, but what it doesn't tell you is it's from the Republicans. And it's quite shocking, I will admit. It says, McCurtain County's own legislator, Dennis Bailey, opposes displaying the 10 Commandments at the state capitol. Well, people, I want you to think for yourself, and I'm about to go visit with Dennis Bailey right now. Come on. And I want to know the truth. And I'm sure there are a lot of people do.
We'll get down to the truth.
Okay. This, of course, was not sent on your behalf. This was sent by the Oklahoma Republican Party, I believe that's what it says. Republican State House Committee.
Right.
Okay. And this is not something new, right? I mean, this was something that was voted on a year or so ago?
It was voted on in 2009, and it's a bill that we had to place a 10 Commandments monument on state-owned property, the Capitol grounds. And everybody knows that it's probably going to get kicked out of court and cost the state millions in legal fees.
Okay, well, let me back up here a minute, Dennis.
Okay.
Now, this was something that happened a year or so ago. Now, I believe you addressed this, though, at that time. Is that right?
We had, Suzanne and I tried to do a lot of news articles. I think the people in the county were not even used to ever having that opportunity to respond to news articles from their legislators. And I made a point to try to do this ever since I've been elected. I've written over 90 news articles in 2 years. And we had a couple back in probably about May of '09 about this. And I received about 35, 40 calls and emails on the subject, and it ran about 35 to 5, best I can remember. I can probably go back and find some notes on that at my office at the Capitol when I get back up there.
So this is your constituents calling to voice their opinion to you. So
and
it was 30?
Somewhere around 30 to 35 against having this monument.
Against having it.
Because they knew it would cost money. Okay. And we would not have a monument.
Okay. And there was something else going on at that time too. Isn't that during the time that the nutrition centers were being closed down?
Oh yes, they were going to budget them out.
Okay.
And transfer funds and DHS over to other things that they needed. And we did lose 2 nutrition center fundings in McCurtain County and one at Clayton and some other areas all over the state. But yes, there was a lot of things going on in 2009. But this particular deal was strictly designed as a political maneuver. Now,
oh yeah, I stated earlier in my intro this was a Halloween prank, and it was a vicious one at that, I think.
Well, I was raised to not mix religion and politics, just to be honest with you. My folks taught me, and I've taught my Sunday school classes over the years. I've taught all age levels in Sunday school, Baptist church and Methodist church, the last 24 years Methodist church, that you don't do these kind of things because they drive more people away from religion, in my opinion. And in the opinion of a lot of clergy people around the Capitol who begged the governor not to sign this bill because they know what it does. It's divisive. I drove around for 2 days in Oklahoma City in my spare time going to churches that I could find. And you can do the same thing, anybody can. And I could not find one church that had a monument with 10 Commandments out on the grounds. So it kind of, I had to stop and think, why do they want to do this? Well, some of the other
it's not the state's place to put it up there.
Well,
it's not.
It's part of that ongoing battle about separation of church and state. Now, this particular ad says that, if I can quote it maybe without my reading glasses, that the Supreme Court even upholds this. Now, you're going to hear this on the radio too. I've already heard it some. The Supreme Court has only upheld the one in Austin, Texas, that was on an 18-acre monument park that was put in there over 40 years before it was ever objected to. Someone has to be offended before something can go to court. It took 40 years. The Supreme Court ruled that that one could stand because it had been there that long in a monument park. I guess they're trying to create a monument park in Oklahoma City. Who knows? But on the same day the Supreme Court did that, they kicked one out. I believe it was in Kentucky. I can go back and find that information if you need it. And also in 2010, this year, they kicked one out that was put up in Haskell County, Oklahoma. Now that made the local news here, and then they appealed it to the Supreme Court, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, or whatever that's called, and they ruled that it had to go. And the Supreme Court wouldn't even hear it. They said it had to go. So that particular one cost the people of Haskell County somewhere around $300,000 in legal fees. And when you lose these things, you pay the opponent's legal fees too. This one, I was told, would be a million or more.
Oh, wow.
The one in Haskell County was lower because, actually, the way I hear it, the attorneys felt sorry for the people in Haskell County because they're poorer than we are. Okay, here in McCurtain County, we're a lot better shape than they are over time. We have been. So that is a reason enough to vote against the bill. But the other reason I told you is just convictions about mixing politics for political purposes.
Well, that's my question. Why would someone introduce a bill that has so much stacked against it? And it would be so costly to win.
Well, we are what you call a red state. And a lot of people in this state want to go up against the Supreme Court. Even if they lose, it gives them strength in numbers or whatever they're looking for there. And I guess you can't blame them. Anybody that really believes in something should fight for it. But until they change it, I can't afford to vote for something that costs $1 million, let's say, or more, when I've got senior citizen centers being shut down, and next year we'll have just as much problem keeping them open.
And not to mention schools, we don't even
well,
have to go there either.
everywhere else. And some people say, well, they waste money everywhere else, why not waste another $1 million on this case? Well, I love the Ten Commandments. I've taught many of a lesson on Ten Commandments. And in my debate that they have on the radio, that they cut and splice to suit their needs. And they didn't show the full debate. But I said on that debate was something, I kind of meant it for a little poking fun at them. But I heard it from Billy Graham and some other ministers over the years, was that God gave Moses 10 commandments, but he might have given more if he'd had more time. There was so much folly going on at the base of Mount Sinai that he told him to go down and, you know, there's some, I can't quote that, I've done it before, but you know what was going on.
Oh, yeah.
In the Bible. He might have written some more, some like, don't abuse children.
Yeah.
Or you could think of several.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I don't try to wear my religion on my sleeve. I was taught that. I really believe that way. And there's times when you need to show a force, and there's times that you don't need to show a force. Right. And if you're just going to do this for grandstanding to your voters, some of the people opposed to this were called communists on the House floor about 10 o'clock at night when this was debated.
Oh, my.
I was kind of tired that night anyway, and a little bit put off about the REAP funding that they were trying to cut from our fire departments. And, you know, I might not have been at myself that late at night when this debate took place on this bill. But I felt like I needed to say a few words just on my convictions and the people I've been talking to, what they've been telling me. So that's part of this deal. I've had a couple of judges tell me that I'm right on target on this vote. And even though it's an unpopular thing among us conservative people, if I had my way and there was no restrictions on it, I'd go up there and help build it. I've got backhoe skills. I could set the thing. And I would do it in a heartbeat. And whenever you know, if you're going to believe in the Constitution, you need to believe in all of it. Not just when it suits you. And sometimes things like this don't suit us, but why waste our money on spinning the wheels?
All right, well, thank you very much.
Anytime. You can holler at me.
And there you guys have it. Don't forget to vote Tuesday. Regardless of who you vote for, get out there and vote. And thank you. I just want to make sure you guys knew the other side to the story.